Tuesday morning started like any other until I opened my laptop and saw the email that would change everything. The subject line read, "Important. Please read." Professional. Cold. Like she was terminating a business contract. I've made the difficult decision to file for divorce. I need space to figure out my life and what I want moving forward. Please respect my decision and give me the space I'm asking for. I'll be staying with my sister for the foreseeable future. We can discuss details later when emotions aren't running so high. No phone call. No face-to-face conversation after 8 years of marriage. Just an email sent at 6:47 a.m. while I was still asleep. The clinical tone told me everything I needed to know about how much respect she had for our relationship. I sat there for exactly 30 seconds, then typed my response. Perfect. One word. Send. While she probably expected tears, begging, or some desperate attempt to change her mind, I had a different approach. If she wanted to treat our marriage like a business transaction, then I'd handle it exactly like one. First call, my attorney. I forwarded him the email within minutes of receiving it. Document everything, he said. This email is gold. She's essentially stating abandonment of the marital home and requesting separation. Second action, our joint bank accounts. I transferred my direct deposits to a new individual account and moved half of our savings. Legally mine, and now safely separated from any future claims. Third, benefits and insurance. I called HR and had her removed from my health insurance, life insurance beneficiaries, and emergency contacts. The representative seemed surprised by how matter-of-fact I was about it. Fourth, I changed the Netflix password. Small move, but it felt right. By lunch, I'd accomplished more divorce preparation than most people manage in weeks. While she was probably expecting me to chase after her, I was busy protecting my future. My phone buzzed with a text from her sister. "She's really upset you haven't called." I replied, "She asked for space." I'm respecting her wishes. The beauty of her email was its clarity. No ambiguity, no room for interpretation. She wanted space, she wanted out, and she'd made her decision. I was simply accommodating her request with the efficiency she'd shown me. That evening, I ordered dinner from my favorite steakhouse, poured a beer, and watched Monday Night Football in peace. No passive-aggressive comments about my choice of restaurant. No complaints about the volume. No drama. For the first time in months, my house felt calm. My phone buzzed again around 9 p.m. Her sister, maybe you should call her. She's an adult who made an adult decision. I'm treating her like one. I spent the rest of the evening organizing documents, screenshots, and financial records. 8 years of marriage generates a lot of paperwork, and I wanted everything documented before any conversations about details happened. The next morning brought another text from her. "We should talk." I showed the message to my attorney during our 10 a.m. appointment. He smiled. "Let me guess, she's realizing that divorce involves actual consequences." "Probably," I said. "What do I tell her?" "That all communication should go through attorneys now. She wanted this to be formal, so we'll keep it formal." I texted back. "Please contact my attorney for any divorce-related matters. His information is attached." Professional. Clean. Exactly the tone she'd set with her email. By Wednesday, I'd received confirmation that she'd been officially served with divorce papers. Her response time had beaten my expectations. Apparently, when you actually take action instead of fighting the decision, the process moves remarkably fast. My coworker asked how I was handling everything. Like a business dissolution, I told him. She made it clear that's what she wanted. The truth was, I felt relieved. Months of tension, passive-aggressive arguments, and her general dissatisfaction with everything had been wearing me down. Her email had given me permission to stop trying to fix something that clearly couldn't be repaired. Thursday morning, my attorney called. Her lawyer wants to schedule a meeting. Apparently, there are some misunderstandings about the process. What kind of misunderstandings? The kind that happen when someone files for divorce without understanding what they're actually asking for. I almost laughed. After demanding space and formal proceedings, she was discovering that formal proceedings are exactly that, formal. "Schedule it," I said. "Let's see what she really wants." Friday afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. "This is Attorney Johnson representing your wife in the divorce proceedings. We need to discuss some urgent matters regarding the case." "All communication goes through my attorney," I said, about to hang up. "Wait, please. There are some serious legal implications she wasn't aware of when she initiated this process." I paused, such as, Her email constitutes legal abandonment of the marital home. Combined with your immediate financial separations, she's lost significant rights she didn't realize she was giving up. Now I was interested. Go on. She's essentially documented her voluntary departure and request for separation. Your response and subsequent actions created a legal timeline that heavily favors your position. We need to meet immediately to discuss terms. I almost smiled. Have your client call my attorney. We'll schedule something for next week. This really can't wait until. It waited 4 days while she was enjoying her space. It can wait through the weekend. I hung up and immediately called my lawyer. He was practically grinning when I told him about the conversation. Her email was a gift, he said. Documented abandonment, clear intent to separate, and your immediate protective actions show you were responding to her declared intentions, not initiating hostile actions. What does that mean practically? It means she gave up her claim to exclusive marital home rights, created grounds for immediate asset protection, and handed us evidence of her intent to dissolve the marriage. Most divorces take months to establish this kind of clear timeline. Saturday morning, she showed up at the house. I watched through the window as she tried her key. When it didn't work, she knocked. I opened the door, but didn't invite her in. You need something? We need to talk. This whole thing has gotten out of hand. You asked for space. I gave you space. You filed for divorce. I accommodated that request. What's out of hand? I didn't mean for it to become this legal war. You sent an email like you were terminating a business contract. I treated it like business. This is what business looks like. She looked frustrated. Can I at least come in? This is still my house too. Actually, according to your email and your attorney, you've been staying with your sister for the foreseeable future. Your words established abandonment of residence. That's ridiculous. I was just upset. Then maybe you should have called instead of sending formal documentation of your intentions. Her phone rang. She answered, and I could hear her attorney's voice even from where I stood. Don't say anything else. Come to my office immediately. She hung up, looking defeated. This isn't what I wanted. Then you should have thought about what you wanted before you decided what you didn't want. After she left, I called my attorney to update him on the conversation. Perfect, he said. She's establishing a pattern of not understanding the consequences of her own actions. That helps us significantly. Monday morning brought the formal meeting. Both attorneys, both parties, conference room that felt more like a corporate merger than a marriage dissolution. Her lawyer started immediately. My client was emotionally distressed when she sent that email. She's requesting we treat this as a temporary separation rather than grounds for divorce. My attorney slid a folder across the table. Your client specifically stated she was filing for divorce and needed space to figure out her life. My client respected her clearly stated wishes and protected his interests accordingly. She looked pale as her attorney reviewed the timeline of my actions. Bank account separations, insurance changes, documented communications, legal filings. You did all this in 2 days? She asked. You made it clear you'd already decided. I just responded efficiently. Her attorney whispered something to her. She shook her head. More whispering. Her face got redder. What if we agreed to marriage counseling instead? She asked. You didn't mention counseling in your email. You mentioned divorce and needing space. People say things when they're upset. People also face consequences when they say things they don't mean. My attorney leaned forward. Your client initiated formal divorce proceedings. My client responded appropriately to those proceedings. If she's having second thoughts about her decision, that's not grounds to reverse the legal process she started. The meeting lasted 90 minutes. Her attorney requested multiple delays, suggested various compromises, and tried to reframe her email as emotional rather than intentional. My attorney kept returning to the same point. She was an adult who made an adult decision, documented it in writing, and now wanted to avoid the consequences of that decision. We'll need time to review our options, her attorney finally said. Of course, my attorney replied. My client will continue respecting her request for space while the legal process proceeds. Outside the building, she caught up with me in the parking lot. This isn't who you are, she said. You're not this cold. I'm exactly who I've always been. The difference is I'm not trying to fix something that you've decided is broken. We can work this out. You didn't want to work it out. You wanted space and a divorce. I'm giving you exactly what you asked for. But your attorney's waiting. You should probably discuss your options with him. I drove home thinking about how quickly everything had changed. 4 days ago, She'd sent an email ending our marriage. Now she was discovering that endings have processes, and processes have consequences. My phone buzzed with a text from her. "This isn't what I meant." I replied, "Then you should mean what you say and say what you mean." For the first time in months, I felt like I was finally dealing with someone who understood that actions have consequences. Unfortunately for her, she was learning that lesson the hard way. Tuesday evening, I came home from work to find her car in my driveway. She was sitting on the front steps like she lived there. "How did you get past the new locks?" I asked, genuinely curious. "I didn't. I've been waiting for 2 hours. In November weather." "That's dedication." She stood up, trying to look confident. "We need to talk. Really talk this time." "About what?" "Your attorney said you were reviewing your options." "I've been thinking about everything. About us. About what I really want." I unlocked the front door, but didn't invite her in. "And I want to come home. I want to work on our marriage." Interesting timing. Right after you discovered what divorce actually involves legally. "That's not why." "Sure it is." I stepped inside, leaving the door open. "You thought you could file for divorce, play the field while keeping me as backup, then come back when you felt like it." She followed me into the kitchen. "That's not true." Then explain the timing. "You were certain about divorce last week. What changed?" She couldn't answer that question honestly, so she tried a different approach. "I made a mistake." People make mistakes. People also live with the consequences of their mistakes. I started making dinner like she wasn't there. Grilled chicken, steamed vegetables, simple and efficient. "You're really going to ignore me?" "I'm not ignoring you. I'm treating you exactly how you asked to be treated. With space." "This is ridiculous. I live here too. According to your email, you live with your sister for the foreseeable future." She sat down at the kitchen table uninvited. "What do you want me to do?" "Beg. I want you to be honest about why you're here." "I told you. You told me what you think I want to hear. Tell me what actually happened." She was quiet for several minutes while I cooked. Finally, "My sister thinks I'm crazy for leaving you." "Your sister's opinion changed your mind about our marriage." "No, but she made some good points. Such as that I'm throwing away a good man over stupid complaints." I plated my dinner and sat across from her. "What were the stupid complaints?" "I don't know. Just things." "Try again." She looked frustrated. "You never wanted to go out. You were always working or watching sports. You never planned anything romantic. And now I realize those weren't really problems." "What made you realize that?" Another long pause. She was struggling because the honest answer wasn't flattering. "Being alone made me think about what I actually had." "And what did you have?" "A husband who paid the bills, never cheated, never lied, and never made me worry about anything serious." I almost laughed. That's quite a romantic revelation. It sounds shallow when I say it like that. It sounds honest. Finally, I ate my dinner while she sat there looking uncomfortable. "So what happens now?" she asked. "Now you live with the decision you made." "But I changed my mind." "You changed your mind about the consequences, not about the reasons you left." "What does that mean?" "It means you still think I'm boring. You still think I don't plan enough romantic gestures. You still have all the same complaints. You just realize that those complaints aren't worth being alone." She started crying. "That's not fair. What's not fair is expecting me to pretend this conversation never happened. You didn't leave because we had problems. You left because you thought you could do better. And I realized I was wrong. You realized you couldn't do better. That's different." The crying got heavier. "So that's it. You won't even try?" "I tried for 8 years. You decided it wasn't enough." People change. People grow. You're right. I changed and grew over the past week. I grew a backbone about accepting disrespect. She wiped her eyes and tried to compose herself. "What would it take for you to consider working things out?" "Honesty. Complete honesty about why you really left and why you really want to come back." "I told you. You told me what sounds reasonable. Tell me what's true." She was quiet for a long time. Finally, "I thought there might be someone better out there. And there isn't." "Because you looked?" "Because I explored my options." There it was. The truth finally. "So you filed for divorce to shop around while keeping me as your safety net." "I didn't think of it that way." "How did you think of it?" "I thought you'd fight for me. Try to win me back. Show me why I should stay." I stood up and cleared my plate. "You thought I'd compete for the privilege of being married to someone who was actively looking to replace me. When you put it like that, it sounds awful." "It is awful." She followed me to the kitchen sink. "But I came back. I chose you. You came back because your other options didn't work out. That's not choosing me. That's settling for me. That's not how I see it. How you see it doesn't matter anymore. What matters is what actually happened. Her phone buzzed. Text message. She ignored it. Who's texting you? Nobody important. The guy you were exploring options with? She didn't answer, which was answer enough. He's still texting you, and you're in my kitchen trying to reconcile our marriage. You really don't see the problem with that. It's not what you think. I think you kept him as backup while testing if I'd take you back. Now you're keeping me as backup while seeing if he'll commit. You're being paranoid. I'm being realistic. Show me your phone. What? If there's nothing to hide, show me your phone. She clutched it tighter. I'm not going to prove myself to you. You're not going to prove yourself to me because you can't. You're still playing both sides. I walked to the front door and opened it. Time to go. You're really going to throw away 8 years over this. You threw away 8 years when you decided I wasn't enough. I'm just accepting your decision. She stood in the doorway for a few minutes, probably hoping I'd change my mind. Your attorney will contact mine about the next steps, I said. After she left, I felt something I hadn't felt in months, certainty. She'd shown me exactly who she was and what I meant to her. Everything else was just negotiation tactics. My phone rang an hour later. Her sister. She's devastated. She really loves you. She loves security. There's a difference. Can't you give her another chance? She already had 8 years of chances. She used them to decide I wasn't good enough. People make mistakes, and people live with the consequences of their mistakes. I hung up and turned off my phone. Some conversations aren't worth having twice. Thursday morning brought an unexpected call from my attorney. We need to meet today. I've received some interesting information about your wife's activities during her space period. What kind of information? The kind that explains why she suddenly wanted a divorce and why she's now desperate to reconcile. An hour later, I was sitting in his office looking at printed screenshots, phone records, and financial statements. Her attorney inadvertently provided discovery documents that paint a very clear picture, he said, sliding the papers across his desk. The first document was a credit card statement. Multiple charges at expensive restaurants, bars, and hotels over the past month, all while she was supposedly figuring out her life at her sister's place. She wasn't staying with her sister, I said. Not exclusively, no. Look at the hotel charges. 3 different hotels, multiple nights each. All in the downtown area where she'd never had any reason to be. Now look at this. Phone records showing hundreds of texts and calls to a number I didn't recognize. The timeline started 6 weeks before her divorce email. Who's the number? A coworker from her previous job. Someone named Ryan, who recently transferred here from their Denver office. The pieces clicked together instantly. She planned this. It gets better. Look at these screenshots her attorney accidentally included. Text messages between her and this Ryan guy. The first few were innocent enough, but they quickly escalated. I'm finally going to tell him this weekend. I can't keep pretending anymore. Are you sure you want to leave him? Divorce is complicated. I've already decided. Life's too short to stay in a boring marriage. What about the financial stuff? I heard he makes good money. That's what lawyers are for. I'll figure it out. I read through dozens of messages spanning weeks. Her complaining about our marriage, him encouraging her to leave, them planning dates and weekend trips. So she had this whole relationship planned before she ever sent me that email. It appears so. But here's where it gets interesting. He showed me more recent messages from the past week. I thought you were getting divorced? It's more complicated than I expected. What do you mean complicated? The legal stuff is messy and expensive. So what does that mean for us? I need some time to figure things out. Time? I thought you said you were sure about leaving him. I am. I just need to handle this the right way. Then the messages from him turned cold. This feels like you're stringing me along. I'm not. I just need to be smart about this. Smart about what? Either you want to be with me or you don't. It's not that simple. It is that simple. Call me when you've actually left your husband. The last message was from Tuesday night, after her kitchen visit to my house. Hey, I've been thinking about us. No response from him. This explains everything, I said. She thought she had a sure thing lined up, filed for divorce to be with him, then realized he wasn't interested in a complicated situation. And now she's trying to salvage her marriage because her plan B fell through. What does this mean for the divorce? It means we have documented evidence of infidelity, premeditation, and deception. She can't claim the divorce was an emotional mistake when we have proof she planned it for weeks. I felt vindicated and disgusted at the same time. 8 years of marriage, and she'd been planning her exit strategy while lying to my face every day. There's more, he said. Financial records show she opened her own bank account 3 weeks before the divorce email. She was moving money into it gradually. How much? About $4,000 from household expenses and her personal spending account. She was stealing from our joint funds to finance her affair. Legally, it's more complex than that, but morally? Yes. My phone buzzed with a text from her. I know you're angry, but we can fix this. I showed the message to my attorney. Respond however you want. At this point, she's just creating more evidence. I typed back. Fix what exactly? Our marriage. Our relationship. Everything. Which relationship? The one with me or the one with Ryan? My phone immediately started ringing. I declined the call. Another text. I don't know what you're talking about. I screenshot one of her text messages about leaving her boring marriage and sent it to her. My phone exploded with calls and texts. How did you get those? Where did those come from? That's private. We need to talk right now. I turned my phone off and looked at my attorney. Now what? Now we use this information to resolve the divorce quickly and favorably. She's lost any moral or legal high ground she might have claimed. What should I expect? A very desperate woman who's realizing that actions have consequences. That evening, she showed up at my house again. This time she looked panicked instead of confident. You went through my private messages? Your attorney provided them during discovery. Accidentally, apparently. Those messages are taken out of context. What context makes I can't keep pretending anymore sound better? I was confused. I was going through a difficult time. You were planning an affair while stealing money from our joint accounts. I wasn't stealing. That money was mine too. The money you spent on hotel rooms with Ryan? She sat down on my front steps like she had before. How long have you known? Since this morning. Are you going to use it in court? Depends on how reasonable you want to be about the divorce terms. What does that mean? It means you caused this situation through deception and infidelity. You can accept responsibility and make this easy, or you can fight it and make this very public and very expensive. You'd really drag all this out in court? You dragged it into existence when you decided to plan an affair instead of working on our marriage. She was quiet for several minutes. Ryan won't return my calls. Shocking. Turns out he wasn't interested in dating a married woman going through a messy divorce. I made a mistake. You made several mistakes. Planned mistakes. Calculated mistakes. So there's no chance? There was no chance the moment you decided another man was worth more than our marriage. I never slept with him. You spent weeks planning to. That's close enough. She finally stood up to leave. I really did love you. You loved what I provided. Security, stability, and someone who never questioned where you were or what you were doing. That's not true. Your text messages say otherwise. After she left, I called my attorney. She's ready to negotiate. I said, perfect timing. I just finished reviewing all the evidence. This should be a very short negotiation. The divorce mediation was scheduled for the following Monday. Over the weekend, I discovered just how completely her world was falling apart. Saturday afternoon, my neighbor caught me working in the garage. Heard about you and the wife. Sorry, man. Thanks. These things happen. Yeah, but the way it happened. He shook his head. My wife works at the same company as yours. Word's getting around about her and that Denver guy. I stopped what I was doing. What kind of word? Apparently, he's been telling people she misrepresented her situation. Said she told him she was already separated when they started whatever they were doing. And now everyone knows she was married and planning to leave you for him. Makes her look pretty bad, especially when he dumped her once things got complicated. How bad? Bad enough that HR had a conversation with her about workplace relationships and professional conduct. Sunday morning brought a call from her sister. She's not doing well. She lost her job Friday. Lost it how? They said it was downsizing, but everyone knows it was because of the scandal with Ryan. He's management level, she's not. Guess who they kept? That's unfortunate. She's been crying for 3 days straight. She has no job, no money saved up, and now no place to stay. What do you mean no place to stay? I told her she could stay here temporarily while she figured out the divorce stuff. I didn't sign up for her moving in permanently while she rebuilds her entire life. So where's she going? That's why I'm calling. She wants to come home. She made her choice. Come on. She's learned her lesson. She's lost everything. She lost everything because she threw everything away. Don't you have any compassion? I have plenty of compassion. That's why I'm not going to let her make the same mistake twice. Monday morning's mediation was brutal. She showed up looking like she hadn't slept in days, which she probably hadn't. Her attorney started with the expected arguments about emotional distress and temporary poor judgment. My attorney responded by laying out the evidence chronologically: the planning, the affair, the financial deception, the attempted manipulation. My client is willing to be generous despite the circumstances, he said, but we're not negotiating from a position where both parties share equal responsibility for the marriage's end. Her attorney requested a private conference with his client. They were gone for 20 minutes. When they returned, she looked even worse. We're prepared to accept a simplified dissolution, her attorney announced. What does that mean? I asked my lawyer quietly. It means she keeps her personal belongings and walks away from everything else. The house, yours. Retirement accounts, yours. Joint savings. She already spent most of her half on hotels and restaurants. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. The paperwork took 2 hours to finalize. She signed everything without argument, like someone who'd completely given up. Outside the mediation center, she caught up with me in the parking lot. I know you probably hate me. I don't hate you. I just don't trust you. I understand. I know I messed up everything. You didn't mess up. You made deliberate choices. I know. And I lost the best thing in my life because of it. You lost it because you decided it wasn't the best thing in your life. She started crying again. I don't know what I'm going to do. You're going to figure it out, like adults do when they make adult decisions. I don't have anywhere to go. That's not my problem to solve anymore. Can I ask you something? Sure. If I had been honest from the beginning, if I had told you I was having doubts instead of planning all this behind your back, would you have fought for us? I thought about it for a minute. If you had been honest, if you had come to me and said you were feeling disconnected and wanted to work on things, yeah, I probably would have fought for us. But not now. Now I know who you really are when things get difficult. You lie, you scheme, and you keep backup plans instead of trying to fix what's in front of you. I could change. You could, but you'd have to do that on your own, for yourself, not to get something you want from me. So this is really it. This was really at the moment you decided another man was worth destroying our marriage for. She nodded and walked to her car. I watched her drive away, probably for the last time. That evening, I called my attorney to tie up loose ends. How do you feel? He asked. Relieved and vindicated. Good. You handled this exactly right. You stayed calm, protected yourself, and didn't let emotion override good judgment. What happens now? Now you wait 30 days for the divorce to be final, and then you move on with your life. Any advice for moving on? Yeah. Remember this lesson. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. 2 weeks later, I ran into her former coworker at the grocery store. Heard you guys got divorced, she said. Sorry about that. Thanks. It worked out for the best. Yeah, I heard about the whole situation with Ryan. What a mess. What's she doing now? Last I heard, she moved back in with her parents. Ryan transferred back to Denver to get away from the whole situation. Apparently, his ex-wife found out about the affair and it complicated his custody arrangement. Turns out actions have consequences for everyone involved. Yeah, funny how that works. I drove home thinking about how much my life had improved in just 3 weeks. No more tension at home. No more walking on eggshells around someone who was fundamentally unhappy with everything. No more wondering when the next argument would start. For the first time in months, I was actually looking forward to coming home each day. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This is a mistake. We could have been happy. I blocked the number without responding. Some conversations don't deserve to continue. 30 days later, the divorce was final. No ceremony, no drama, just paperwork that legally ended what she'd emotionally destroyed weeks earlier. I celebrated by doing something I hadn't done in years. I planned a weekend trip without asking anyone's permission or worrying about someone else's mood. 3 months after the divorce, my life had transformed completely. I'd remodeled the kitchen, started going to the gym again, and reconnected with friends I'd lost touch with during the marriage. That's when she made her final attempt. She showed up at my office on a Thursday afternoon, looking better than she had during the divorce proceedings. Someone had clearly given her advice about appearances. Can we talk? Just 5 minutes. About what? About us. About what we could have been. There is no us. There hasn't been since you sent that email. I've changed. I've been going to therapy. I understand now what I threw away. Good for you. Personal growth is important. I know I don't deserve another chance, but you're right. You don't deserve another chance. Can't we at least try to be friends? Friends don't lie to each other for weeks while planning betrayals. I was confused and scared. You were calculating and selfish. There's a difference. She tried tears, but they felt manufactured. I miss what we had. You miss what I provided. Security, stability, someone who paid the bills while you figured out what you wanted. That's not true. Your text messages said otherwise. Those messages don't represent who I really am. Those messages represent exactly who you are when you think no one's watching. People change. Some people do. But change happens through consequences, not through avoiding them. So there's really nothing I can say? There's nothing you can say because there's nothing left to say. You made your choice months ago. I chose wrong. You chose honestly. For the first time in our marriage, you were completely honest about what you wanted. I'm grateful for that honesty. Grateful. It saved me from wasting more years with someone who didn't want to be there. She stood quietly for a moment, probably realizing this conversation wasn't going the way she planned. I heard you're dating someone. I'm living my life. Is it serious? It's none of your business. I hope she appreciates what she has. She appreciates honesty and direct communication. Novel concept. After she left, I realized I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, no lingering attachment. Just relief that the chapter was finally closed. 6 months later, I received a wedding invitation in the mail. She'd apparently found someone willing to marry a woman who demonstrated her approach to commitment. I wished them luck. They'd need it. A year after her email, I was genuinely happy. Not just content or satisfied, but actually happy. I'd forgotten what that felt like during the final years of our marriage. My life had become exactly what she'd complained about. Predictable, stable, and boring. The difference was I'd found someone who valued those qualities instead of resenting them. The best part? When she asked for space, I gave her exactly what she requested. Permanent space. Some lessons are only learned when the consequences are irreversible. Sometimes the greatest gift someone can give you is showing you who they really are. She'd given me that gift with her email, and I'd responded by accepting it completely. Her space had become my freedom. Her divorce had become my fresh start. Her consequences had become my vindication. Perfect response to a perfect ending.
오, 그래요. 이게 약간 전라도 민심이 중요한 거구나. 예. 전라도 민심이 중요하네. 이게 몰랐네. 이게 막 지방 민심보다도 전라도 민심 이런 게 중요하구나. 맞죠. 나도 그래. 결과를 아는데 굳이 뻔한데, 예, 그거를 내가 뭐 어떻게 뭐 슈발 여러분들한테 그렇게 말할 수는 없었잖아. 어제도 이미 결과는 뻔하다. 그러니까 여러분들 알아서 찍어라. 예, 어차피 결과는 뻔하다 이랬잖아. 투표하는 게 중요하다라고 말했잖아 내가 어제. 그런 거 같아요. 예. 보면 민심이 거기서 거기야. 예, 어디로 이사 가냐고요? 몰라요. 예, 오늘이나 내일 집 구해보고 원룸으로 이사 가려고요 형님. 예. 키라님도 어서와요. 맞아. 나도 그 유튜브에서 잠깐 봤거든. 근데 막 갑자기 막 문수영이 역전한 것 같습니다 이지랄. 절대 역전 못해. 예, 맞아요, 키라 형님. 어차피 결과는 뻔해. 뻔한 결과에, 우리가 그냥 서로 싸우는 것보다는, 그러려니 하는 게 맞죠. 맞잖아. 막말로다가, 결과가 좀 엎치락 뒤치락 비슷비슷해. 그러면은 뭐, 니가 맞네, 내가 맞네 싸울 수 있어. 근데 이미 결과가 뻔한데, 결과가 뻔한데, 그거 가지고, 슈발, 뭐, 치고받고 싸우는 것도 의미가 없어요. 1 더하기 1은 2인데, 자꾸 1 더하기 1이 1이래. 사람들이. 그러면 아니지, 그거는. 1 더하기 1은 2인데. 맞죠, 맞죠. 투표가 끝났으니까 이제 누구 찍었는지 말할 수 있지. 이미 끝났는데. 이제 그 비밀선거 끝났잖아. 이제 그 누구 찍었는지 얘기할 수 있잖아. 그러니까, 내가 뭐 어제 뭐